Before we talk about audio formats and audio file formats, we're going to talk just a little bit about regular file formats in general. We're going to start by looking at this right here, a Microsoft Office document, because I think most of you should be at least relatively familiar with that. And if you take a look at this, if I go down here and I want to save this document as something, I can go File, Save As, and now within here I can see Save As Type right here. I can see that right down here I've got these different document types that I can save this as. And if I click on this little down arrow, I can see that I can save it as a Word document, an XML document, all these different types. In a Word document, we know that that's a Word document because it says .doc at the end of the Word document. So if I name this belly button, it's going to be called bellybutton.doc. And the file format is Word document. The file extension on it would be called the .doc. That's the little tiny extension at the very end of the file name that tells you what kind of file format it is. Well, just like this one single Word document could be in all different types of file formats, audio, sounds, and songs and recordings can be in all kinds of formats as well. And so we're going to take a look at a website that I'm going to have you go to here in a little bit called findsounds.com. I'm going to pop that open. It should look a lot like this when you open it up. The advertisement up here might look a little bit different, but right here the search engine should look relatively the same. And all of these options down here should also look the same, these ones right here. Once you take a look at these options, you'll realize that you have 4 major file formats that you can choose from. You can choose from the AIFF, the AU file, the MP3, and the WAV file format. The 2 most common ones are actually the MP3 and the WAV, so I'm going to have you uncheck those other 2 just to test the waters out here. But once we search for something here, let's say we look for bell, and I hit enter, and it searches for all the instances of a bell ringing here. And now I can take a look at all the different sounds that it has that are bells that ring. Right here I can see that this one is indeed a WAV file. Right down here at the very end it says .wav, which means that it's a WAV file format. That is one of the most commonly recognized audio formats around. It's a big whopper though. The way that it codes all those zeros and ones that you just learned about, it actually stores it in a rather large format. MP3s, on the other hand, are tiny itty-bitty file formats that are saved in such a way that you could store tons of those songs on the same amount of space as a few WAV files on the same thing. So I'm going to take a look at this and just show you guys how to take these songs. Once you found them with these little sound effects, which is what these are. This is a bell sound effect. First thing I'm going to do is just listen to it by clicking on it here. Clicking on that link brought up the QuickTime player and it automatically played that sound for me. If I want, I can play it again by pressing the little play button right there. There we go, I played the bell again. When I'm done, I can just hit the back button right up here on my web browser to get back to the findsounds.com webpage. And if I scroll down here towards the bottom, you can see all the different little wave shapes and things like that. And you can see that I've got tons of different sounds to choose from. That's the way that you can listen to the sound. If you want to take the sound so that you can use it in Audacity, all you have to do is go to the link, and then instead of left clicking on it with your mouse, you're actually going to right click on it. So I right click on it and I get these options right here. I have open link and new tab. I don't want to do any of these open things. I actually want to save the link. And if you are in Chrome, like Google Chrome like I am, you'll have the term save link as. If you're in Firefox, it might say save target as. If you are in Microsoft Internet Explorer, it might say save or save audio as or save file as. They'll all say something a little bit different, but they'll always start with the word save, and it'll always end with the word as, because we want to see what we want to save it as. I'm going to hit save link as, and this dialog box should pop up here any second. There we go. And it automatically names it for me. See, it's 125 bell loop.wave, and .wave is that file extension like we said before, and you can see the file type down here is wave audio file, and I just choose where I want to put it. I'm just going to put it on my desktop right here with all the rest of the junk that I have, and I hit save, and it will save that bell loop file. Now let's go open Audacity and open up that same song or same sound effect in Audacity. Here we go. Now I have Audacity opened, and most of you should be familiar with this by now. And if I go File, Open, I should be able to just go to my desktop here and find that bell loop sound. Like I said, I have a lot of junk on my desktop here. Bell loop was a little hard to find because it's actually called 125 bell loop, and I should have paid a little bit better attention, but there we go. I click on it and it opens that same exact audio file in here, but let's listen to it for once. Sounds quite a bit different because it's a little bit different bell that I chose than the one we had just listened to, so it's not a big deal. And you can actually see all the waves in here just like you could before. And now I can take and I can import more of these song files. So I'm just going to go up here and go Project, Import Audio, and I'll migrate my way around my desktop and I'll pull in a whole bunch of sound effects. Okay, now I've added a bird call in here, and I've added a banging sound, and I'm going to go up here, choose the time shift tool here, and I'm just going to move the bang down to about right here, and I'll move the bird call a little way so that right at the end of the bird call, there we go. And now as we listen to this one more time from the beginning, back here, throw my cursor back at the beginning, press play. And I've created one of the world's silliest little sound effects. But you can see how this is very, very practical, where you could have students going in here and creating narrations of themselves, reading a story, and they could add sound effects into this program by simply going out to a place like findsounds.com, and then they could throw together, splice together, put pieces of their voices and sound effects in there. They could even have music lying underneath, playing in the background, to give a little bit of emphasis or a little bit of tonality to the story itself. There's all kinds of things that you could do with this program, obviously, but that's a way to steal some sound effects from the websites that allow you to find sounds.com. is obviously royalty free, and you can take what you want from there, but you should always give credit. From here, that's basically all I wanted you to understand were different file format types. Now, if you complete your assignment on file format types, you'll be all done.